I'd like to demonstrate to you how we might go about unleashing the ripple of a digital filter's gain to reduce its transition width. Here's Sketch-a-Filt. I'm going to edit this to 49 coefficients. I'm going to have FIR filters throughout this situation. I'm going to have low pass ones. I'm going to edit over here in the lower left hand corner to 0.2 so I have a complete sharp transition. Ideal brick wall characteristic. I'm going to display my filter's gain in absolute terms. I'm furthermore going to restrict this to a MIP situation, a minimum phase filter situation, so I'm pushing this button, which of course takes my impulse response and slams it to the left as it should. This default filter is hugging the characteristic pretty well, but I'm going to get rid of it because I can control some other types of designs a bit better, so I'm going to get rid of frequency sampling. I'm furthermore going to discard this target profile by pushing on that button. We can remember that without having such a cluttered diagram. And I'm going to go into user def and bring up 3 different types of filters, all of which have been put forward by Dr. Ivan Selesnik when he was at Rice University, and you can find references to these in the user def documentation of Sketch-a-Filt. And these are wonderful filters. I love them. I'm going to go first to number 21, which is a generalized Butterworth filter. I've chosen it. I click it, and I'm going to have 49 coefficients, so I'll have to have 48th order numerator. And although I could have poles, I'm not going to. I'll have just an FIR situation. Here then is the characteristic I'm interested in. It's quite nice in that it crosses this 0.5 datum exactly at 0.2 frequency in normalized frequency terms. And it's extremely flat and nice here in the passband and likewise in the stopband. The only problem about it is it takes forever to roll down here, exits at about 0.15 normalized frequency, rolls on down, takes its time, gets down here at about 0.28 probably, it starts flattening out again. Well, 0.28 minus 0.15 is 0.13, that seems to be 26%-ish of this entire usable frequency range is devoted to just this thing deciding to get on down from one state to the other. It's a bit exorbitant. We'll preserve that one by turning it into a guest filter. This allows me then to release user def for other activities, and here we've now enshrined our first filter in this gray characteristic that we see here, and we're going to compare things to it. The first thing we think about is, well, what if we were able to indulge in some ripple out in the stop band? Well, we've got one of these. This is number 24. This is a flat passband, equi-ripple stop band, and we click this on. Now, if this were the IR world, this would be called a Chebyshev 2 filter. You can see it's broken into ripples out here, and I can gingerly move them. I've right-clicked on that and on this box down here, and then I've started moving this slider along, and you notice that I'm bringing up the ripple structure, and it's also moving the whole thing over lock, stock, and barrel. The particular value I want to choose, I just happen to know, is this value of L, parameter L, which I'm setting to 28, and the attenuation dB smack on 19 dB. And you notice that now these two curves cross right at the 0.2 frequency level at 0.5 gain, and that's good. And you can also see now with this setup that our new filter, this second filter, is also extremely flat across the passband, which is exactly what we want to have happening, because that means all important frequency components are getting the same uniform treatment. It dives down, crosses through. In fact, as it comes out, it exits its stop band perhaps a little bit later, but more importantly, it smashes down in here at 0 gain very early on indeed, very close to 0.2. That means that this transition band is much more narrow than the previous situation, and the price that we paid for it really is only these ripples out in the stop band. Very often we can live with this cost because we don't care that much about the frequency components that we're killing out here. Maybe we can allow some of them to come through a bit more strongly than before. That might well be worth it if we are able to reduce this transition from gain state to stop state to a very much shorter expansive frequency. Well, I like that one, and I've also cooked one earlier, exactly the same thing. I'm going to bring it across. I'm going to copy data from the impulse response, bring it over here, and paste it up here, right on top of the previous one. And likewise, I'm going to copy the gain and come to line attributes here and paste it on top of that one. This allows me to free up the user depth, and now I've got two comparable filters. Our first one nice and smooth, our second one with these ripples. Okay, if a bit of stopband ripple has done us some good, how about some passband ripple as well? Well, we can do this by going up to number 6 and getting an equi-ripple corridor filter, number 6. I click that on, you can see what happens now. Indeed, it crosses just as it should at 0.5 gain, at 0.2 frequency. And we've got now some stopband ripple, but also now what's new is this passband ripple. Let me bring for comparison purposes, let me bring the stopband ripple up to 19 dB so that we can see that the blue curve and the green curve out here are the same sort of height. And we can see what's happening now very well. Because of this passband ripple, which we've allowed to have happening, well, first off, we exit the passband very much later, dive through as we should, and we crash in here very much earlier. So compared to the blue curve, we've even got a more narrow transition band than before. Now, unfortunately, you might say, we've got this ripple in the passband. This means we've got some unequal treatments here. We may not like that, but if transition is our important consideration, we've obtained it. Let's see what happens if we change parameters and say let's get rid of the transition width, get rid of the ripple structure in the passband, go down very small with that and see what happens. You notice that since we're keeping the stopband fixed, we're getting smaller and smaller. We're getting more and more like the other filter. The green one is falling almost on top of our blue one. So our third filter is almost like our second filter. If we now furthermore decide to control the stopband attenuation, we'll see that as it goes down, taking a bit longer here, you can see it. Maybe I'll just move it over in larger steps. No, notice what's happened to the impulse response. This third filter of ours has now moved away from its condition where it was jammed up against the blue one, and is moving more towards the first filter, which is the one shown there in stem plots. I'm going to go to about 180 in one fell swoop, and you'll see that it's very close indeed. In other words, a degenerate case of our equi-ripple filter, which is the third one, can either appear to be like the second one or the first one. Let's go back to 19. In fact, I'll do this from the edit box. 19 here. Maybe, I don't know, 1 here. This is then our main message. Our filters are very much influenced by the amount of ripple that we have in the passband and or stopband, and the combination that we can control enables us to decide just what transition width we want to go for.